What's going on, YouTube? Alright, so this is my really dirty, well, it's a TV, but it's my, I don't know, Vizio 22-inch, something like that, monitor, and it stopped working last night. So, figure, what the heck? Let's take this thing apart, shall we? Well, before we do that, I might as well show you what's going on. As you can see right down here, Vizio, we got the red light on. I hit the power button. We get please wait, and then HDMI in the corner, and when it's supposed to turn on, nothing, black screen. So I did a little bit of looking around on the internet, and apparently this is not an uncommon thing. So, and everybody says we got to replace boards or resistors, diodes, all that different stuff. I don't know what's going on, but I figure what the heck. I'm just going to go ahead and open this thing up and let's see what we see. Alright, obviously this thing's a little dirty and everything, but set it right here in this bright sunlight. And, well, if you look right here, we've got arrows pointing to a bunch of the screws here. So, I guess, and they're all Phillips. So I guess we're going to go ahead, undo those, open her up, let's see what we got. Alrighty, right here. I guess you can see it a little bit. There's two more screws. There was one that was also in the base there, so that had to come off as well. And also next to the HDMI, there was two screws, and right here in between the component and VGA, there was another screw. So you got to remove those as well. There's a false panel right here, but that apparently does not need to be removed. I also snapped the plastic here. I wasn't even being forceful. It's just that brittle. This is 8 years old, if you can see. Manufacturing date. Of course my camera won't focus. But it says manufacturing date, September 2008. If you can... Oh, look at that. It's going to focus this time. So, anyway. Take out those screws, and this entire panel comes right off. So, I guess I'll do a little visual. Look how dirty this thing is. Ugh. Yeah. This thing was was kind of messed up when I got it, and I got it for free, so can't complain about that. But I'm going to do a little quick visual inspection, and let's see what I can find, right? Alright, I haven't found anything yet, but I just did a quick look around. And if you're wondering, look, I popped the volume button out, and the whole board is out right here. It fell out of the clip. That was all my fault. I don't think that has anything to do with it, because it's been like that for years. But anyway, just quick visual inspection of what we're looking at, because I know if you're not really electrically inclined, you're like, oh my god, look at all the wires and things and stuff like that. Alright, well, it's kind of simple when you actually look at it. So, obviously, this is where the cord plugs in. This is our power board. So this is where everything gets power. We've got our main power, well, not the main, but this whole board is our power. And then we've got our wires here that go to the, I would call this, I don't know, the audio-visual type board. And that's where it gets its power. We also have a few things over here. I haven't gotten into that. Another thing I've noticed is a lot of this tape that was holding things down like this, it's all just popped up. I guess that's just over time. The tape wore out and everything like that. But anyway, okay, so we got our power board. We've got our controls over here, and that controls, they come over here and plug in on this wire. The other side of this wire goes to our little lamp that was lighting up red and blue to tell us that it's on. We've got this plug right here, which goes down under this tape around here, and then it goes to a speaker and another speaker. So this would be our audio part. We've got our video inputs part right here. I guess that would be audio. That would be, what the heck do they call that? Firewire or whatever. And then also our headphone jack in. And like I said, I didn't really touch anything so far. But, let me see here. And then this big old box, that's your coax. They usually look like that gigantic thing with a bunch of things coming off. I didn't use coax. I was using HDMI, and I was using... VGA. And so those were my two inputs that I was using. Neither one worked. Another thing I noticed, So I get, well, yeah, so this would be, you know, our main board that controls everything. Like I said, power in here. Right here would be, I assume, it's going right up here, which I believe would go to the screen. Ooh, I didn't even check that. I didn't even notice there's a board up here. I'll have to check into that too. But that's where it's getting its power and controls and everything like that. It comes right out off the top here. Goes into, I assume, this board that this board up here that controls the LED screen, which I'm assuming that's where our problem is, because it seems to work fine. Oh, I forgot to mention also that when this problem started happening, it happened last night. I was watching a video on YouTube, and it just shut off. And when I turned it back on, it just came right back on like normal, was on for about a second or two, and then shut off. And then today, I unplugged it before I went to bed. This morning when I woke up, I plugged it back in, and it did what I showed at the beginning of the video. I turned it on, and it just, comes on, says, please wait. Then it says, oh, we're going to connect to the HDMI, and then just goes to a black screen. So, I don't know. Kind of thinking maybe on the back side of this board, if we, there's 4 screws each on the corner. I'm assuming if I go ahead and unplug the main power, maybe unplug this one, this control here and the audio, I believe this board can pop right out, except for this tape here, and I guess we'll just have to check on the back side of that board. I'm kind of thinking this board is not the problem. Now that I see that there's a board up here, I'm kind of assuming that is where we're going to find our actual problems. So I don't see how this would actually pop apart. I mean, I've got 2 screws over here. I don't see anything else really. I guess we got screws on the side there. Another one down here. All right, so I guess that's how that would come out. We're not going to take that out right now. So far, I'm going to assume, you know what happens when you make an assumption, right? But I'm going to assume that the power board is fine. It's just a hunch, just the way it was acting. It seems like everything's working fine. It's just the screen is not working anymore. The only thing I did do was take a very small flathead screwdriver, and I popped this connector off, and nothing seems to be looking bad on that. I did visual inspection on the capacitors and stuff like that. Nothing seems to be all puffy and bloated, like as if it popped. What are these, capacitors? Whatever. These thingies. But anyway, I guess next step would be, let's just double check on the back side of this board. It's easy enough. 4 screws, 4 connectors, and that should be able to come off. So I guess we'll go ahead and do that, look on the back side, see if we see anything burnt. And we'll move on from there. Like I said, I assume it's going to be up there, something with the problem with that board. Oh, another thing, it did not, another test that you do I do. First thing, because this isn't a guide on how to fix your TV. This is me with a broken TV, and I'm just trying to see what is going on inside. Last night, I was checking it out right here on the vents on the very top, smelling it. That's one of your best things with electronic stuff. And it passed the smell test. Didn't smell like burnt or anything like that. When I started taking it apart, it did kind of smell burnt. So, kind of hoping it's not. But anyway, it's easy enough to pop this board out. We're going to start there, just double check on the back side. Like I said, I looked through all these. Here, you can actually see these little tiny resistors, diodes, all that different stuff. I checked them all out. I didn't see anything burnt or anything that looked out of the ordinary. None of these guys looked popped or anything. Touched a few of them. They move a little bit, but not much. So, but like I said, I assume this is not going to be the problem. Yeah, that's it. So I guess that if this has a processor or something, I guess that would be under here. I don't know, because this looks like some sort of heat shield, which is funny because they put tape right over it. But like I said, audio out over here. Looks like video out over here, power in, and the controls. For the power on, volume up, volume down, channel, and all that stuff, and your indicator light. So, all right, let's start by checking out this board, and then we will move on to that other board up there. So let's do that. All right, now we've got this thing flipped over. So everything's backwards now. This would be our video out going up to that board. Our audio in would now be over here. Those 4 dots right up there. These are the, HDMIs, that bunch of dots, VGA component, what was it, main power in right there, and what was my other one, the controls right down here. Well, visual inspection doesn't look too bad. There's a weird mark right there that looks kind of like a marker. Doesn't look like it's burnt or anything. The only thing that I found, which, like I said, right here is our video going out to this, and right here, which is just a series of things, I found a little bit of crusties right there where that's showing, a little bit of green crusties. I don't think that would do anything, but hey, what do I know? I'm not an electrical engineer. But so far on visual inspection, smell detection, what's this? No, okay, there's a little dust on there. But everything seems to be okay. That doesn't mean it's okay, but usually if you have a big scorching black mark on it, well, that's usually your problem, and the board would be bad. But so far, I don't really see anything. So I guess I'm just going to flip this back over, put it back together, and we'll move on to up there and see what that tells us, if it tells us anything. So let's do that. Alright, well, before we move on to that other part, just figured I'd pop the main power board over and just double check the back. Yeah, some things I don't really like. Some of these, like the main power right here where it's coming in, you can see the solder has a little bit of heat to it, but I mean it is 120 volts. But I don't see anything really out of the ordinary. And what I was talking about, I don't think it's going to focus, but there we go. You can kind of see the solder. It doesn't look the greatest, but it's all there. So I don't really think, again, I'm not an electrical engineer, and I'm not testing this properly either. I'm just looking. But everything does seem to be A-okay. So, again, guess we're going up there. Alright, well, I disassembled that. There's 4 screws, 2 on each side, 4 screws. These 4 connectors, I had to write them down to make sure. One is black and white, one is pink and white. On both sides, they seem to have a connector going to the top, one going to the bottom. Double checked them to make sure they were secure. They seem to be fine. Had to pull this tape dealy up. There's also 3 screws, one there, one right next to this connector, and one over here on the other side of the board. Flip this board over. That one looks absolutely pristine. Everything looks perfect on that one. And there's connectors, if you can see that, all these ribbon connectors up top there. So I am not going to mess with that. In the rare instance that maybe, for some weird reason, I actually did something to make this thing actually work again. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this back together. Heck with it. Let's put it back together, fire it up, and see what's going on. Oh, also, with taking off the outer ring here, I did take out all of our connectors, our power, channel up, volume up, all that dealy. I had to remove them. There are also 2 screws right there, right behind, in front of the indicator light. And actually, they were right here. And I had to take those 2 screws out to get this out. So, I don't know. That's about as far as I'm going to take it. Not really much to see. But I don't know. I'm just going to put it back together and hope that in some rare instance, maybe one of these connectors just came loose. Oh, that was another thing. I did double check for broken wires on here. I've got a flashlight, mag light over here. And I double checked on all of those, all of these. I did not undo that connector. I'm just going to push it and make sure that it has a good connection and it's seated. And I guess, oh cool, this glue strip here has a little bit of stickiness still to it. I'm going to put this plastic right back down. Got to feed this through the plastic here. And I'm just going to go ahead and reassemble. And, I don't know, cross our fingers and see what happens. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll be doing the exact same thing. But at least I took it apart this far and you got to watch. So I guess that's it for right this second. I'm going to go ahead and put this thing back together. Also, these screws right here in this board are some of the tiniest screws I have ever seen in my life. So I don't know. Be careful with them, and if you're going to do this on your own, I don't know why you would do it. But make sure that you have some kind of magnetic screwdriver. That'll help you so much. I don't have that, but just a little tip in case I don't know why you would want to take your TV apart like I'm doing, but like I said, it's broke. What am I going to do? Break it more? That's always my philosophy. That's why everybody brings broken things to me and says, hey, go ahead, do whatever you want with it. Usually I'll take it apart and find a burnt board. That's really what I was kind of thinking I was going to find. But now that I didn't find a burnt board on anything, I'm just going to kind of hope and pray that maybe it was just a bad connection or a loose connection or something like that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and assemble this, and I don't know. I always encourage people to play around with broken stuff. Make sure you discharge in case it has any kind of capacitor or anything like that. I did that before I started working on it because, again, when you mess around with anything electric, you have to be very, very careful. And this sucker here actually looks like it might be a capacitor. It's kind of big, too, and it's right past the power. And I believe that's, I don't remember what the heck that is, but it looks like some kind of switching type dealy. But, yeah, anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this thing back together. Let's see if we're going to be insane. You know what the definition of insane is, right? Trying the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead, throw this thing back together. If anything interesting pops up, I'll throw you back in. But otherwise, we'll be testing in a second, I guess. Alrighty, it's back together. We got our red light down there. Let's see what we did. I don't expect anything. We didn't do anything, so why would it work? Alright, blue light, please wait. HDMI, volume, and it shuts off. Well, oh well. At least we got to take it apart and see what was going on the inside a little bit, I guess. So, I don't know. Didn't do anything, but I don't know. No harm, no foul, right? It was already broken, so what am I going to do? Break it more? Actually, I kind of feel like I fixed it a little more because now we get the volume bar that pops up there, which was a problem that I had before. Sometimes when you turn it on, the volume bar would just pop up, and it would just, go from 0 all the way up to 100 and then stay at 100 and sit there right in the middle of the picture, so that part of it was already broken, so I don't know. I guess it's fixed. It's not really fixed, but oh well. I took it apart. I looked at the stuff on the inside, saw what it was made of, and that's it. So I don't suspect one of the boards are bad. Any of the boards are bad, but it could be. I don't know. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, checking out, I don't know, me doing nothing. Just checking out taking apart my TV. Guess we could do the flashlight test. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you see, you can see how dirty my screen is. But apparently, you should be able to see something in the background. That means your LCD went out. I don't see anything. So maybe my TV is just broken. But anyway, that's it. Yep. We're going to call this garbage. Maybe just set it in a corner for a week or something. If I think of anything else, I'll take it apart and see if I can do something else. But I think we took it pretty much as far apart as I want to take it apart. I don't want to actually get into the LCD screen and all that stuff. Made sure all the connectors were secure and everything. And I guess we saw what was going on the inside. So anyway, like I said, thanks for hanging out with me. Don't attempt this at home unless you're very competent or you know what you're doing. I don't, but like I said, I discharged the power and before I started and just hopped right into it. So this is what I like to do anyway. When anything's broke, I like to take it apart and see what's going on with it. That being said, I'm always ready for it to catch fire whenever I put it back together and turn it on, but haven't had that happen yet. So never know, might happen in the future, and if it does, maybe I'll make a video about that. That would be great. Everybody would love that one. But anyway, yeah, you can see my blue light is still on there, which means the TV's supposed to be on. I got nothing on here, so oh well, I guess I still have a broken TV. But you got to see that it was broken, and I took it apart, and now it's still broken. So, look at that, it's a video. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Don't forget to do the comment thing down below. Leave a comment, not just for me. I love the comments. But for everybody else, just that way they can see your channel, and maybe they'll go down there and subscribe to it. I tell everybody to hop down the comment section, subscribe up to anybody that you see down there that has content that looks interesting. So do that. Amazon link down below. There's Patreon. All my stuff is /RevTosTV. So there's Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun, happy social media stuff. Do all that other happy social media stuff down below with the thumbs up and subscribe and all that other fun stuff. And I will catch y'all in the next video. Maybe with a new monitor. Maybe not. See ya. Or no, that's Dave's thing. I say later.